to rock and roll, you guys. Okay, first of all, thank you so incredibly much for joining me tonight. I usually don't do new coach calls anymore, but this month, as you guys see me posting and sharing, I'm all in. Like, I am full forces because now is the time, like I've said, to create that momentum before Summit. It's just that time of the year. And as you're in the business longer, you'll kind of notice this time of the year, you build momentum, and then Summit, there's a big boom. And there's kind of waves in the Beachbody business. So this month, I was like, we've got so many crazy new people on our team. Like, just looking at, we've got almost 30 people on here. And I thought, you know what, I want to get on. I want to share kind of my journey as a new coach. And hopefully you can pull some tips away from this. I'm going to try and keep it at 30 minutes because I don't know, we have other lives to get to. But I want to get nitty gritty. I didn't want to share with you, join an apprentice challenge group, find your challengers, hit Success Club, all that stuff, because let's be honest, that's what, your sponsor coach is there for. That's what your new coach training is for. You'll get the facts and figures in any new coach training, right? Like, it's pretty straightforward. You can find that stuff online. I want to talk about some stuff that isn't often discussed and that made the difference for me personally. My 3-year coaching anniversary will be, I signed up at the very end of July. So it's coming up, and I kind of narrowed it down to 8 things. I'm going old school with you guys, so you can number your page 1 to 8 if you want. 8 things that truly, I think, honestly, not the information I gained, it was these 8 things that took me from where I was when I signed up 3 years ago to where I am today, with coaching being my full-time career. So are we ready? Dive in? Yes? Give me the thumbs up. We're good? Okay, super. So if you guys didn't know, when I signed up to be a coach, I actually did not know what coaching was. Nothing. I signed up blind. So if you signed up and you actually know what coaching was, you are ahead of me. I watched the coaching webinars, what it was, after I was signed up. So I knew about Beachbody probably in about grade 8 when my older sister ordered Turbo Jam, and obviously we lived in the same house. And I started doing the program more than her, kind of sneaking it away when she wasn't home. I would do the workout, and if anybody's done Turbo Jam, it's kind of addictive. It's super fun. I fell in love with Shalene, and that was my first experience in a Beachbody. And honestly, ever since then, I was kind of just in love with the workouts. I told my friends about them. We'd do them together. I got a couple of my girlfriends really into fitness that way, and they still do DVDs at home. But I knew nothing about coaching until I signed up that couple years ago when I went to order a new at-home fitness program when I was starting full-time teaching, because I didn't think I'd have time for the gym. And then I randomly came across the coaching tab. But that was key for me because that fueled kind of my main point, which is belief. And I think that belief is key for new coaches to embody right off the start. Too often I come across new coaches that don't believe they can help somebody or that they can succeed in this business. And for me, it was like, I completed a fitness program. I made fitness part of my life. That belief was there. I knew Beachbody products worked because they made me feel amazing. And if I believed that, I knew it was going to be true for other people. So too often, I'm embarrassed to ask somebody to try this workout program, or I don't know what they'd think of me if I asked them to do this. And I just think, I believe in how good this made me feel. So I know it's going to make this person feel that good too. So as a new coach, I want you to, before you even start a new coach training anything, you need to hone in that belief that this isn't a scam. This isn't some get rich quick scheme. These aren't products created by terrible trainers. These are top-notch programs that work and that have worked for you. And that's why it's really key that you be doing a program yourself, right? Because you can't fuel that belief if you're not through the journey yourself. So that was number one for me. The belief, it was there. I can do this because I know it works. All right. lots of people ask me, what was my magic? You know, what did I do when I signed up to be a coach to get things rolling and have success? And I honestly say it has always been the basics for me. When I signed up, I was a full-time teacher, plus Steven and I were opening up his franchise. So I didn't have time for anything extra. It was complete basics for me. The first thing I did when I signed up, you know, I did the new coach training and I printed off some form of tracker. It was a business activity tracker, or it was whatever tracker you want. Because I knew that, okay, I don't have time to do all the fluff in this business. I only have time to do what's needed. So what's needed? Well, my coach told me this checklist is what is needed in order to be successful. So that's honestly all I did was that checklist, you guys, for one whole year. That's it. I didn't have YouTube videos. I didn't have a blog. I didn't have a like page. I barely used Instagram. I had my personal Facebook page and I had this tracker. And that's all I did for 1 hour every single day. But the difference between, say, myself doing that for a year and maybe another coach not experiencing as much growth or success was these two things: consistency and patience. I am going to be really blunt with you. I did not miss a single day in a whole year of my power hour. And I know that might not sound realistic, and I'll kind of get to another point, but I didn't miss a single day of that tracker. Sure, I missed certain things on the tracker, like if I, you know, whatever, I'd circle them and I'd review it after the week to see where I could improve. But I did a Beachbody Power Hour every day for 365 days for the whole first year I coached. And so I was consistent, and I think that's the difference between myself and coaches that maybe feel this didn't work for them. I did it every day, and it's really as simple as that. And having the patience, right? I didn't do it for 1 month, 2 months and expect to see big results. I was told, be here a year from now. I heard that in so many trainings I was listening to, and I heard it from my sponsor coach. She said, be here a year from now. And I said, okay, well, I can do that. A year flies by. Heck, I went to university for 5 years. So I can be here a year from now. So that patience mindset was kind of instilled in me right from the start. And I hate to see new coaches get frustrated after a month or two and they throw their hands up in the air and they say, this isn't working for me. And then I say, oh, well, what was your sign-up date? And they tell me it was like a month ago. I'm like, girlfriend, take it easy on yourself, right? Like, be here a year from now. So the consistency and patience part of it, hands down, hands down, that was key for me. So we've got belief, we've got consistency and patience. And okay, my third one. So remember I said there was 8 things. I was a self-learner. I didn't know my coach when I signed up. I hadn't spoke to her once. The first time I spoke to her was when I signed up and I said, hey, I think I'm a coach. And she said, okay, great, here's a webinar. So I watched it and I said, okay, I'm done. So she said, okay, here's our new coach training. I said, okay. And when I was done, she said, okay, here's, you know, now it's time to spread your wings, run your own challenge groups. I said, okay. And I think being a self-learner was one of the best things I could do for myself because I set the pace for myself. My sponsor coach or your sponsor coach is there to run as fast as you want to run or walk or whatever pace you want to go at, but they are not the holders of your success, if that makes sense. To me, a sponsor coach is somebody that shares this opportunity with you, helps you get started on your journey, helps you get signed up, and plugs you into the information. So like a new coach training. But after that, I mean, the ball is honestly in the coach's court. The sponsor coach is basically, to me, it's a mentor. After my new coaches get signed up, new coach training, I'm going to help them with whatever they need. Like if they want to run, I am with you 110%. But at that point, I'm a mentor. I rather lead by example than tell people what to do because that just gets kind of like picky. So being a self-learner, what I mean by that is what stage are you at? What do you need to work on? Okay, you're apprentice challenge grouping in your apprentice challenge group. Okay, you're going through your new coach training. Then what do you do after that? Well, what's the next step? Okay, I want to be an emeralds coach, or I want to be a business starter. I forget what the levels, my gosh, business starter. Yeah. Okay, let's Google that. Let's learn. How do I get to that next step? So instead of messaging my sponsor coach, I went out and I researched. I watched some training videos. I talked to some other coaches. I said, you want to do this together. Let's push together. I found out what I needed to do, and I went to go do it. I didn't wait on anybody else to tell me what to do, because that's the cool thing about this business. If you type into Google, you can honestly learn anything. And the cool part is you can start to align yourself with certain coaches you like to learn from, right? You'll notice yourself like going to YouTube channels, and maybe you really like Scotty Hobbs, or maybe you really like Brittany Leggett's training, or maybe you just hate my training and you're like, she's so annoying, I need to find somebody else. You can do that because there's so much training out there. Everybody shares their knowledge. I think it's super important to take it into your own hands, because let's be honest, when you sign up to be a coach, you're the CEO of your own business. As crazy as that sounds, and I don't know about you guys, but so many people ask me how my hobby's going. How's my fitness hobby going? I'm like, it's a good hobby. It's okay. It is my full-time career now, but it's still a hobby to a lot of people. I think the less you treat it like a hobby, the more you treat it like, I'm the CEO of this business, the more you'll take control and take it into your own hands, right? So for our Quiznos, we don't rely on corporate head office Quiznos to make our store successful. That's our job. They'll pass down the information, but that's our job to make it successful, right? Okay, next. My why was my mindset. My why was my mindset. And what I mean by that is, as a new coach, I struggled. I struggled with what my why was, because I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what I really wanted in this whole scheme, this whole coaching thing, because I didn't know what it was yet. So when I got on a new coach call with my coach, she's like, well, what's your why? And I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, honestly, like, I don't really know yet, because I don't know what's possible. So as I got through the training, and I challenge you, as you go through training and learn more about coaching, develop a why. And maybe you have it already. Why are you coaching? And I think that's super important for you to define, so that you know how you want to run your business, so that you can communicate to your sponsor coach what your why is, so they understand how to help you. Because if one of my coaches, if they come to me and tell me, Morgan, like, this transformed my life, I really want to pay this forward to as many people as I can, and I really, really would like to work hard to make this my full-time career so I can spend more time with my family. Then I have another coach come to me and say, Morgan, like, I love my job already. I'm really just looking for a hobby to, pay off some things. That's kind of my why, just to have fun in a hobby. The way I mentor that coach that wants to go full-time versus the hobby coach is going to be very, very different. And the way that person that wants to go full-time runs their business is going to look a lot different than the hobby coach. So a lot of people, start this business and think everybody has to run it the same, but that's not true. The person that wants to go full-time is probably going to be busting their butt quite a bit more, because that work ethic lines up with what they want their goal to be, versus that hobby coach. They're going to run their business a lot differently, right? So I think it's important for you to define why you're doing this, and then you can align your work ethic, your schedule, what you're going to do from there. For myself, it was, once I realized what it was, I was like, I really want to do this full time so I can help Steven at the store and just have this life of freedom. So I was balls to the walls. I was all in right from the start, because that was my goal. I have a couple coaches that signed up and were in really bad financial situations, and they wanted to get out of those bad financial situations as quickly as possible. So I went all in with them, and they went all in because their why was that powerful, and it was always at the front of their mindset. So sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Didn't want to miss anything, but defining that why is going to align with your work ethic. And like I said, I could go on about that, but I think that's key. And always staying in tune with that, thinking, okay, is the work ethic I put in to my business this week aligned with my why? You know, if you look at that and you want to go full time, but you just realized you didn't do anything Beachbody related for the whole week, that doesn't really align, right? You're not going to achieve that why, that goal, if your behaviors aren't aligning with it. So always keep that why at the front of your mindset. That's going to give you a big overall picture of why you're doing this, because that's what matters. The little itty bitty things you might get overwhelmed or frustrated with, nobody's going to die. Everything's going to get worked out. But that big why needs to be that umbrella that's covering over you and reminding you that this is why I'm doing this. Okay? So, all right, next. What did I put? Plan to avoid excuses. I planned to avoid excuses. So, in my business, I started as a full-time teacher. And then after that year was over, Stephen and I actually left for 5 weeks to train to open 2 franchises. So we were in Lethbridge, we were in Toronto, and we were in Montreal, gone for 5 weeks in hotel rooms. And I was kind of just a coach, not even a year old, well, almost just a year old coach running my business at that point too. Just finished my first year full-time teaching, and I could have had every excuse in the book. I'm traveling. I was training from 8 till 6 at least every day for this franchise, where I could not have my phone or laptop open at all. I mean, I could have thrown my hands up in the air, but I had that big overarching why that was keeping my mindset clear, why I was doing this. And I also planned ahead of time. Before we left, I decided to do PIO because it didn't require any equipment, and I knew it was going to be in a small space. In our hotel room, you guys, you would giggle at me. So I got up at like 5 a.m. We stayed in crappy hotels. I walked downstairs, and this dingy place had a little computer stand so people could use the computer, but I brought my laptop and I plopped it on top of the keyboard they had and put my headphones in really loud on like some inspirational YouTube music, and I'd pound out work for 1 hour. I'd go back up to our hotel room. Stephen was still sleeping. I'd keep the lights off. You know, when you walk into a hotel room and you've got like, you walk in and there's usually the door to the bathroom and then the beds are right there. So in that little hallway, I'd put my laptop on the toilet, so I'd be in the hallway and my laptop was on the toilet, and I would do PIO half in the washroom, half in that hallway for like 5 weeks. And it may have looked silly. I had to modify, but I mean, I got it done. It was no big deal. So I did that in the morning, and then after we'd train at 6, I'd check into my groups one more time and I'd go to bed. And I did that for 5 weeks on the road. I didn't eat the best, I will say that, but that's okay. And I just planned ahead of time. When I was full-time teaching, I started off deciding to do my workout in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I'll do my power hour after school, and that'll work out perfect. But I lived it with my parents at the time. So after school, I felt like I was so distracted that I said, no, this isn't working. It took me about 2 months to figure out it wasn't working. So I moved my power hour to the morning. I got up at 5. I did it before I went to teach, and then I worked out in the evening instead. So that worked better because I could get my work done, and there were really no excuses at 5 a.m. other than me not getting up. But I got up at 5 a.m. every single day for the first, 2 years of this business probably. So, but again, that aligned with my why. I wanted to make this full time. I wanted this to be my life, because I wanted to step away from teaching to be more with my family and help Stephen. So getting up at 5 was just what I had to do. There was no like ifs, ands, or buts about it. That aligned with my why. So that's what I did. That's the work ethic. That's the behaviors I put in because it lined up with what I wanted. if I just wanted to earn a couple $100 a month, I probably wouldn't have got up at 5 a.m. I probably would have just done Beachbody while I watched How to Get Away with Murder on TV every Thursday night and sold a couple challenge packs here and there. But that personally didn't align with why I was doing this. So I planned to avoid any excuses, because I knew that if I didn't achieve my results, it was just on me. It was on my behaviors. It wasn't my sponsor coach's fault or challengers' faults or anybody else's fault. My results were dependent on my behaviors. All right. So next one, get caught up in what you can control. Get caught up in what you can control. So this is big for me, and a lot of my success partners and other coaches point this out about me, that I'm very, I have my blinders on. And I think I learned that at the start because I was so busy. And that's what I tell a lot of my new coaches when they say they might be too busy to coach. I say busy people are better coaches, and they end up doing better in this business than not busy people. Okay, often my coaches that end up going full-time hit a slump for a month or two after they go full-time because they have too much time. So busy people do better. So I had to have my blinders on. All I had was this checklist that I had to do every single day. And the extra stuff didn't matter to me, the extra fluff. Editing fancy videos, making a cool blog, making cool recipes, getting caught up in conversations with people that were not propelling my business forward. I did not have chit-chat conversations with success partners. It was business. And I didn't get caught up in things I couldn't control. You know, if something frustrating happened, I would be like, okay, let's solve it. Let's move on. I don't have time to dwell on it. You know, if an order got mixed up, okay, let's solve it. Done, move on. I was not big in getting caught up on things I couldn't control because that wasn't going to propel my business forward. And I do caution new coaches about this because there is a lots of glitz and glamour in this business and fun groups and fun things to do and conversations to be in. But all of a sudden you get caught up in that and your time to do your power hour is over and you can't even do the stuff that mattered. And then you have to move on to the rest of the stuff you have to do in your day. Like, shit, well, there goes my Beachbody time for today. So that extra stuff comes when you have extra time. I was really narrow focused on what mattered and what I could control. All right. And which also means you can't control the outcome. I was never like attached to outcomes. If a challenger wasn't ready, they weren't ready. I contacted them next month. If a person didn't want to coach right now, great, no big deal. What I could control is how many people I talked to, how many people I shared the opportunity with, how many posts I did, that kind of stuff, right? Me pouring into the challengers I already had. So I was very disconnected from the outcome too. I wasn't heartbroken if somebody didn't want to do this. I mean, heck, all three of my sisters CrossFit. They love Beachbody, but they're not doing Beachbody programs or coaching. That's okay, no big deal, right? I want to help the people that are ready to be helped and are inspired by my journey. Okay, let's dive in. 2 more. Do what makes you happy. All right. So what I mean by this is the best part about this business. You get to do whatever you want. Your sponsor coach, myself, your new coach training, whatever, is going to give you kind of like the platform, if you will, like the basic information. What's Success Club? What's a challenge group? How do you earn this? Blah, blah, blah. But after that, you get to let your mind soar. If you don't like Instagram, don't use Instagram. Okay? If you have the crazy coolest idea for a challenge group, but nobody's done it before, do it. Try it. Don't ever force yourself to do something in this business that you don't like doing, if you know what I mean. Because people are going to connect with you, and they're going to connect with you better if they are seeing you like you get energy from things you love doing, right? So make sure you pour into that. And you'll notice that vibe with a lot of our coaches. Everybody's kind of got a different vibe because they've really tuned into what they like, what their style is. So I encourage you to it took me forever to feel, I'm still figuring that out, didn't really know what my vibe was. But whatever it is you enjoy doing, go after that. For me, yes, I know I post a lot about fitness, you guys. I know, but that's what I like. That's my passion. Whereas other coaches aren't that passionate about it. You're not going to see even some of the top coaches posting that much about fitness. They more so post about like the coaching opportunity and that kind of side of things because that's what they're more passionate about. So there's never a cookie cutter mold. Just go after whatever you enjoy doing, okay, if that makes sense. All right, and this one I guess I kind of touched on already, but align your behaviors with your goals. Align your behaviors with your goals. And like I said, I did kind of touch on this, but I think this is a really, really easy way because everybody kind of, like I said, this Beachbody business ebbs and flows. From myself, I know sometimes I usually have 1 week out of a month I kind of feel like in a slump. And then the other 3 weeks of the month, I usually feel really good. And it's just kind of natural, or this time of the year, I feel in a slump about the business. And that's normal. Happens at our franchise business too. You have good weeks, bad weeks, good weeks, bad weeks, right? It just kind of ebbs and flows. But a self-check I always do with myself, and I encourage my coaches to do, is look at the past week. So I'll bring up my trackers or whatever, or just look at it and think, okay, based on what I did as a coach last week, does that align with my why I'm coaching in the first place? Like, did those behaviors, if I want to be, say, in my case, if I want to be a full-time coach, did the behaviors I did last week propel me to reach that goal? If I worked my booty off and got my power hours done and it said, yes, it did. If I made excuses for myself that last week and I really didn't do what I needed to do, I'd say, no, like that's not aligning with my why. It's not going to propel me forward for that to come true. So that's a self-check I do pretty much every week. And then B, once you grow a team, I always think about this. If my coaches did what I did last week, would they succeed? If my coaches did what I did last week, would they succeed? Because this is a business that's duplicatable. So if I look back on my week and I did my power hour, I did my workouts, I did my personal development, like I feel good. Yeah, if my coaches did what I did last week, they would succeed. And that's how I like to lead. I prefer to lead by showing and by doing rather than telling. But if I look back on my week and I slacked in like all those areas, and I would think to myself, there's no way my coaches or my team would succeed if they did what I did last week. So how can I expect my team to grow and succeed? I can't. That's being a hypocrite. I could never expect that, right? So what do I need to change this week to make that happen? So that's a self-check I always do with myself. So number one, what I did last week, does that propel me closer to my reason for doing this, my why? And if what I did last week, if my coaches did that, would they succeed in this business? And I think that's just the easiest way to self-check, you guys, because sometimes people think, why am I in a slump, or why is my team in a slump? And I'm super blunt and easy. I'm like, well, what did you do last week? Like, would your team succeed if they did what you did last week? And I'm like, oh no, I didn't even work out once last week. I haven't done my power hour. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything, right? So those were my 8 things that I personally think made the difference for me. I am at 7:30, but let's maybe just take like 5 minutes. If you want, you can type in a question on the chat. If you have something you're wondering, I'll take just 5 minutes and then I promise we'll wrap up because like I said, I want to respect your time. Ooh. But if you've got any questions, type them in the chat and I will go over them. What was number 7? Oh my gosh, number 7 was do what makes you happy. Okay, what do I do for a power hour? You can do anything you want. I personally have one on my new coach training website, Morgan's Team Training. I think, let me look what the actual, I've got my exact power hour on them, morgansteamtraining.blogspot.ca, and you can go into the new coach training tab, and I've got my step-by-step thing there. Do you have a template or something you normally follow for your power? Yes, it is on there, and it is super simple. You've probably seen everything like it before. Post 3 to 5 times a day, drink my Shakeology, work out, checking into my challenge groups, doing my personal development, inviting to challenge groups, inviting to coaches. Super simple, pretty much like you've always seen. But you can definitely check it out on my training website. But templates are templates, all the same. Yeah. What else you got for me? Oh, yeah. I can copy the link to my website right here. Sure. And then just go into the new coach training tab. If it looks a little bit different over this next month, I am kind of like working to simplify and revamp it a little bit. So that's the website, morgansteamtraining.blogspot.ca. All right. I have a lot of people say that maybe another month would be better. How often do you continue to contact them? Do you find they eventually do sign up? If they say next month will be better, I say definitely. I'll message you next month. So I have a notebook. I'll write their name down in to contact them next month. And then if they keep saying, nope, not this month, okay, I'll write it down for next month. I used to have a notebook and one page was a month. So I would just write their name down so I remembered. And I ask them, I say, okay, do you want me to contact you next month? If they say yes, I keep contacting them. Some sign up, some don't, some take a year, some take a month. I always just say, how long did you watch your coach for before you signed up as a coach? If you were maybe one of those people that signed up instantly, maybe you will attract those people, or maybe you're one of those coaches that watched your coach for over a year. I've got a lot of those people that have watched me for a year and then finally say, okay, I think I'm ready. So it just depends. All right, Jenna, inviting people to challenge groups, especially people you haven't chatted to in a long time. How do you go about starting up that conversation without feeling salesy? Awesome question. So first of all, I'm going to say this, because I think people overthink inviting. I think what you need to do is take a moment and ask yourself, how did I get into a challenge group? How did I start coaching? Okay. Did somebody invite you? Did you see a post? What triggered you to join a challenge group, and what triggered you to sign up as a coach? And whatever that was, do that, because you want to attract people like you, right? So if it was a certain type of post, or if it was a personal invite, whatever it was that made you join, just do more of that, you guys. It's super, super simple because it worked for you. So obviously it's going to work for other people like you. So for people I don't know that I'm inviting, the first thing I do is I don't even message them yet. I go to their page and figure out what they're doing and start liking and commenting on stuff. And if I see them CrossFitting and loving it, I'm probably not going to invite them to a challenge group. I might invite them to, I'll probably message them and see how it's going. And if they're loving it, I'll probably just chat with them about their fitness and stuff. And because I like chat, they're clearly found something that they're enjoying. So why not chat with them about it? Who knows, maybe they'll coach in the future. Or if I see on their page or a post that, they're not happy and they're just kind of blah, maybe I'll message them, and that's kind of leads into it. But I definitely get involved and figure out where they're at on their page if I haven't talked to them in a while first. And then I'll start up a message and just see how they're doing, see where they're at in their life. And then just make it natural, roll into it from there. And I see how I can help people. If somebody's like, ask me how I'm doing, I'm like, great, I'm coaching, I'm kind of in my fitness journey. And if they say, oh, I wish I could get into fitness, but I just don't have time. Boom. Hey, I'm doing this program that's 22 minutes long. Like, I'm getting really good results. You should maybe try it with me. Or if they say, my mental health is not good, like I'm in a negative place, I'm first going to recommend a book or a podcast to them. I am a full believer. I want to help the person in whatever way possible. Even if somebody's not ready to sign up, you guys, I give them a template I have of free resources. I say, hey, if you're not ready right now, can I just give you some free resources? I've got a template. I tell them to sign up for a free Team Beachbody account so they can just start looking at recipes and stuff online. I give them Autumn Calabrese YouTube channel, and I tell them to click on the workout tab, and they can start doing workouts for free at home by one of the top Beachbody trainers in the world, because she's got awesome workouts on her YouTube channel. I give them, what else do I give them? I tell them to follow my YouTube channel and my pages, and I recommend some free podcasts to them. Boom, I have got them, I'm helping them, I'm getting them started. They're gonna start to get that belief so that when they're ready, they think of you and they come to you and they feel comfortable coming to you. So that's what I do. I always give people free resources if they're not ready yet. I hope that helped. I sort of went off on a tangent there. Okay, I will leave it at that. I don't see any more questions. I know that was a little bit all over, and it might have not been the new coach call you were expecting. I'm not sure if maybe you were, kind of a training, but like I said, the concrete things, the how to do this, what is this, that's all available online in your new coach training that your sponsor coach would give you. I wanted to fuel your mindset. I wanted to make your heart flutter a little bit. I wanted to create that kind of desire in you that is like, damn, like I can do this. The information is there. Everything is there. Plus, you'll probably notice a lot more. You might like watch a YouTube video, then all of a sudden you're watching 6 YouTube videos. The information's there. It's just the matter of taking it and taking action and doing it and having patience for it to pay off. So I hope this fueled you to know that this is a good time to get into this and do this. So, got a couple more. Favorite book? Hands down, The Compound Effect, if you haven't read it. I'm super into podcasts right now, though. It's like hard for me to sit down and read a book, but podcasts, love The Chalene Show, love Earn Your Happy. Those are probably two of my favorites right now. But I will say this, personal development is personal. Don't force yourself. Every month I pick a topic that I want to personally work on. So for example, maybe 1 month it is my confidence. I really need to work on my confidence. I will pick podcasts and books based on that. The next month, maybe it's my leadership skills. Maybe 1 month it's my organizational skills. Eat That Frog is phenomenal if you're not organized. The next month, maybe it's my relationships. Maybe I want to read the 5 love languages. Maybe I have to work on that this month. You're never, ever going to be balanced in every single area. And I think that's the biggest lie that we're told. I want balance. I want balance in my life. I'm sorry. You're never going to find it. Or I've never experienced it. You are going to ebb and flow from things. Your business is going to be thriving because you're pouring into it. And then maybe you notice, my relationships and family are lacking. Okay, I need to swing the pendulum back this way and kind of prioritize my work and pour into my family. Okay, maybe, my work's suffering a little bit. I need to pendulum this way. You're never going to really have balance. It's being able to identify what's thriving and perhaps what's lacking and tweaking things to kind of swing that pendulum, if that makes sense. Thank you. Definitely helped a ton. Okay. Amanda, I see your little guy. Is he peeking in on learning how to be a Beachbody coach? He'll be great. Okay. Guys, give me a thumbs up if that helped, if you liked it. Yes. Okay. Super. I just kind of wanted, I planned this about, 50, I thought about it for the past couple days, and I just really wanted to speak what was on my heart, what worked for me, and really just be open and honest with you guys and real that, yes, this took hard work. Yes, this took a lot of sacrifice, but would I do it all over again? In a heartbeat. In a freaking heartbeat, you guys. Too often, I see a lot of people that are stuck in feeling unhappy and going through the motions and not pouring love into the people that deserve it because they're rush, or they don't have enough time with them. And my worst fear was being that person and, you know, going through all of this, and that at the end of my time, you know, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I spent most of my life doing things I didn't really want to do, not being with people I wanted to be with, and just rush, and now it's over. And that fear was what fueled me. You know, I had to say no to a lot of things. I had to sacrifice some sleep and some time. But I thought, you know, if I can just do that for a couple of years and really pour my heart into a vehicle that I know was going to allow me the freedom, I was like, that's going to give me these few years that I can just go hard is going to give me so many more years for the things that I want to matter. So that's what I was willing to do. And like I said, I don't know what your why is. You might just be doing this for fun and you're like, Morgan, this calls too much. But if you're maybe like me and you have that pull in your heart, just please know that this effort, this sacrifice, this pouring into the business is a job that it pays off long term. I still work really hard, but that hard work has paid off and has given me so much more life, so many more years. It's just, it's amazing. So just know that it's possible. I live in a town of 5,000 people in the middle of the prairies in Saskatchewan, where most of the people that live here are old. Thank gosh for the internet. If I can do it, I am like, sometimes, you know, you're like, oh, this person's from LA. They've got everything set up, all the connections. I'm like, no, I got nothing. And I made it happen. So if I can do it, that I have belief in every single person that signs up on our team to be a coach, that they can do it too. So thank you. I went for 45 minutes. I'm sorry. We'll wrap up. Have a phenomenal night, you guys. If you have questions, you can always comment under this video. It's recording, so I will get this up recorded tonight because my internet's too slow to do it too fast. I have to do it overnight, and I'll get it in there tomorrow morning. All right. So everybody have an awesome night, and we'll talk soon. See you later. Thanks again for joining me.